Willkommen auf der Hinterbühne, dem Podcast des Theaters und Orchesters Heidelberg. Diesmal zum 41. Heidelberger Stückemarkt. In 9 Folgen hört ihr die nominierten AutorInnen des deutschsprachigen und des internationalen AutorInnen-Wettbewerbs. Im Gespräch mit den DramaturgInnen und dem Presseteam des Festivals erfahrt ihr mehr über die nominierten Stücke.
Hello, Theresa, and hello, David. It's nice to see you in this virtual room. Hi.
Hello, it's nice for me too. Thank you for inviting.
Hello.
You're very welcome. I'm glad that we have the opportunity today to talk a bit more about your play, which in the German translation is called Der weiße Hund. I guess that would be the white dog in English. I don't know if there's an English translation available so far. And before I pass over to you, Theresa, I would just like to ask you one more general question about Georgia and the theater there. If you were to mention just one aspect that is very special to you, that characterizes the theater scene in Georgia today, what would that be?
Now, what I would say, first words that comes into my mind is political and politicized, with its worst and best meanings. Because as an institution, state theaters are very much, I would say, occupied by Minister of Culture, and it's a big problems with it. Like freedom of speech or a lot of problems, and they sign artistic directors by their own choices, only because of political visions. But at the same time, it's political, and it becomes more and more political, I think, especially in independent scenes like private theaters, which are not a lot. We are quite few groups of people who do independent theater, but some of the state theater also became very political, and they are in opposition now. And in these very difficult times when our government is doing very bad things for our country, like this foreign agents law, probably you heard about it. I think that theater people are really going like united against of this problem, and it became very political, I think. And yeah, I mean, it's very often that we have our political position, of course, and we are against of something, but I think that theater is even more political, and theater should do politics itself inside of its organization, or or also into the theater pieces itself.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, I think what you've just said fits very well the impression that I've already had from the conversations with your 2 colleagues who will also have their plays read at Stückemarkt, and also to what David Gabunia, the curator for the Georgian program at Stückemarkt, mentioned before. And I think, and I hope that that it will turn out that way, but I think that the program that we will be seeing here will make it very possible to discuss these issues. But now I think we will try to discuss your play a little more, first of all. So I will pass over to you, Theresa.
Yeah, we shall see. Maybe some of my questions will also like connect to yours, Christina, because first of all, maybe before we start, thank you again for your play, Der weiße Hund. I'm just going to say the title in German now, if that's okay. And first of all, I would like to ask you what inspired you to write this play.
I was thinking about it today, what inspired me, because actually I wrote this play quite a long time ago. And then I remember that on this year I was ill for a very long time. Like 2 months I was in bed, and I had a lot of time to think about body itself, what is the physical body and how it transforms and how it changes all your life when you physically can't move for a long time. So that's how it somehow began. And then I tried to think about this as a metaphor of impossibility of love in some apocalyptic world, as it is in this play. And that's how this character came, like this husband who is ill, and for all along of the play, he is going to die slowly, and we see how his body is slowly, like literally going to death without any possibility, even material possibility, to help him, because they don't have, they are not rich, they are not even a middle class family who could afford to take care well on this problem that he has. But at the same time, there is line of love between, at first, he and his wife, Irina, who is a main character for this play, I would say, because then this love line is completely develops through her, and we see a world from her perspective mostly. And then we have her and her students' love story developing through this development of death, and this makes conflict between them. So inspiration for me was at first my physical state in which I was myself, but also, as I remember, it was, as always, there was very difficult political situation in the world. I remember there was some conflicts, very dangerous, between America, Iran, some events that is also mentioned in a play in a way. And I was thinking about it, how the patriarchal masculine world is going to die, and how it becomes this apocalyptic situation around this death. Like we see this man's body, how it is deconstructing and changing, and through these big changes, how love becomes impossible and vulnerable through this environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I just came up with another question listening to you, but I think I'll save it for later, because you've already talked a lot about the apocalyptic setting, I would say, and most of the play takes place within the house that you describe. But you also describe the outside setting quite a bit. What significance and purpose do you attribute to that outside or some nature setting? Because I felt like you described nature quite a bit as well.
Yes. Well, nature is also dying with these people for all the performance. It's actually, visually, that's what is happening to the nature, that it is going to die. It is dying through the performance, and we see seasons changing with this death also. But what is very important for me is that this nature is always with some human or non-human objects, and it very much emphasizes with these objects. So when a dog is dying, for example, we see that this dog is then hidden in a ground, and this ground then transforms into something. So this nature is constantly changing, and I really wanted to not speak only about humans in this play. That's why I wrote a dog even in a characters list, because for me this dog is really very important character. Only a character who is whose resurrection, or who I don't want to explain it too much, but this dog exists in all scenes somehow. We don't hear its words, or it's not like imitation of humans' characters that is attached to a dog. But yeah, so I mean, I wanted to tell a story of nature itself with humans. Human is just part of one of the elements of the nature. So that's why everything is dying together in this play.
I thought the contrast was really interesting between like everything you described and that what takes place within the house, and then also what takes place within nature. And there are similarities, but also huge differences, I felt like. And also the scenes where Mariam and Irene meet outside of the house. You already have like these huge epic pictures in mind, I felt like, especially when it came to the field. You know, you describe the field quite a bit.
Yes. In my imagination, it's a very long field in which we have this little house, and very static, but only, actually also this is the very important difference, I think, or maybe it's too much instructions for other directors, because I'm also a director in my profession, and maybe I write too much about instructions how to stage it, but I don't know, for me it's really important to make this contrast between this little house, which is a little part of this big world that is this nature around it, this field, that which is transforming all the time.
Yeah, and also because part of the relationship is so confined to that house, right? So in contrast, the relationship between Irene and Mariam, which not only, but also takes place outside, it already appears to mean more freedom, or a different kind of freedom, I guess, also relationship-wise, which is basically the question that I just thought of. Because does it matter to you that Mariam is female? Does it not matter to you? Could the student be any kind of gender?
It's a good question. For me personally, it doesn't matter, but I think that politically it's important very much that they are women, because, actually it's very, mostly when we hear love stories, even about homosexuals love stories, we see men, mostly gay men, and we don't see women love stories, or we see women love stories, but it is seen from a perspective of men. So in this case, I really tried to not sexualize them and objectify them, but to really show very subtle love between them, which is not also very much expressed, but still it exists. And at this point, I think it's important for me. Like, if anyone would ask me in case of staging it, if Mariam should be man, I would not accept it. I think it is supposed to be played by women.
Because when I was reading it, and obviously I don't know much about Georgia or the theater scene or the audiences that you have, because when I read it, I was wondering if for the audiences it's more of an issue that they're both female, or if it's more of an issue that it's a student and an adult. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if it's not an issue at all, possible as well.
It's not an issue at all, and Mariam is not in an age when it could be an issue. I mean, she is older. Yeah. So and for this also, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have answer about it. I mean, for me, it's not an issue because she loves her. That's all. That's the answer for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. It's just something I think that can be quite different from country to country as well. What they take issue with, or if they do not take issue with it at all. And I like that about the text as well, that it felt like it was, in a way, an equal relationship. Also, like, in contrast to the husband and so on. But it's like she's obviously struggling, with a decision, or she's divided between those two. But the way you wrote it, it doesn't make a difference that she's female or like the age gap was not that much of an issue, but more that it's just a difficult decision to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apart from obviously the relationships that take place within the play and are a big of like the focus in the play, you also wrote in artificial intelligence in correlation with nursing or caring for dependent people. And I would like to know, in your eyes, is that like more of a dystopian future or more of a like valuable opportunity?
Yeah, this is also a very difficult question for now. If you would ask it in the time when I wrote this play, it was a very valuable opportunity for me. Like, I really was looking at very with a lot of hope. I was admiring this development of AI and robots. I remember in that times this robot Sophia was a new thing. And I was a bit shocked that how could it develop human in a very good way to help. But then I was slowly became more shocked with the fact that how humans are trying to make AI or robots same kind of species as humans are. And then now I don't know. It's very complicated to speak about it. But of course, as everything, it also has two sides. And but now I don't know. I'm not very hopeful about humans' decisions, and let's see how it will be used. But still, I have this hope, and I think that it's very important to have this impossible future imaginations that at some point there is some possibility to not be so much concentrated about body or about decisions that we make because of our egocentric and egomaniac thinking, which in my imagination AI should not have, because it is neutral, and so it doesn't operate because of emotions. So it should become more equal opportunities for everyone if AI would be next to the human and if we collaborate together with each other. But I don't know. It all sounds very strange now.
No, but I do understand, because like Irene, basically the main character of the play, is obviously struggling with caring for her husband. And of course, the situation probably would be much better if she had at least some help with it, either by artificial intelligence or another human. But in her case, more human help is not possible, right? Because of finances as well. So I understand. Maybe.
But also, So actually, in this case, even if there was some artificial intelligence or robot that could help to her, it would not be accessible for these people. That is also a problem. I mean, that these things that his husband is watching in his smartphone, and he is also very much. He likes it very much. Yes, it's very far from them. They are living in this middle of nowhere, and this help will never come with them. This class of people are lost and hidden. They will not get this help.
Yeah. Maybe as a last question, because this is very interesting, but getting long. Your play has 4 episodes, right? And the last episode is, like, in its style or in its form, quite different to the others. Can you explain a little bit why you chose that form for the last episode? Yeah.
This is also an intuitional thing, I think, and I tried a few times to explain it. I can explain why I did it, but I think it's important for this play that, and this is the only explanation that I could give, that audience, like when I imagine myself as an audience who is watching this play, like I'm becoming in love with these characters, or I'm following with them what story develops with them, and at some point when it is already a moment of culmination, it stops, and then it begins some absolutely another story, like another performance even. Who is this woman suddenly in this house? Why she is doing renovations? What's going on? And at some point, you also have this feeling that some parts will come back from the stories that you watched in a previous scenes, but it will not come back. And I think it's very disturbing feeling of ending something that has not ended, and you want to see how it finished, but nobody will give you this answer. It's very equivalent for me for the life itself, how it happens everyday living. It's very illogical and disturbing, and we are not living in a perfectly organized world, and it has all the time these surprises, and for that reason we all the time need to think about what is the meaning of our existence in it, because we never know when changes come. This is a feeling of this apocalypse, or a constant change, I would say.
Yeah, and also that, like, it's interesting because for Irene and her husband, this house is their world, right?
Yeah.
And it switches so quickly to being someone else's world.
Yes.
And it's like a lot about meaningfulness, or how meaningless is their story or life within, like, a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, we have to end our talk now. But of course, the audience can ask you more questions when you're here. And your play has been read. Thank you very much, David, and Christina as well.
Thank you for your questions. It was very interesting.
Die Lesungen der Stücke könnt ihr live im Zwinger 3 am 27. und 28. April sowie am 4. Mai oder aber im Stream über unsere Website erleben.